Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! History with Giorlando. In today's video, Sean and I are going to play some more of the 2007 Nationals season. In today's video, I am going to take a Machine Beatdown variant, and I think Sean's going to also be playing Machine Beatdown, but I'm not positive about that. So at least for the opening of Game 1, there will be some degree of uncertainty between what we are running. I've decided to run a variant of Michael Bueno's deck from the 2007 US Nationals. I really liked that variant of Machine Beatdown. You'll notice it actually combined a small Monarch package. So this is going to be very similar to the Matt Petal variant, but it's going to run 3 copies of Gravekeeper Spy and 3 copies of Rise of the Storm Monarch. It's also going to run a Treeborn Frog to help support that package. I think this version helped the brain controls in the main deck. I also think that this variant with the Spies had a decent matchup against card trooper based decks. So for a couple different reasons, I like this Ryza version. It's not going to run Overload Fusion or Future Fusion, so some of those fun combo pieces in the Philly Luna deck are not going to be present. No Dark Magician of Chaos. It's going to be a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more of a controlling variant. I made a couple shifts. I cut a Spirit Reaper in the main deck, which might warrant a spot, honestly, to stop against OTKs, but I cut that. I also cut a Sakuratsu Armor from the Trap lineup. I feel like that card is suboptimal against all of the Cyber Phoenixes. I added a additional Brain Control to combo with the 2 machine duplications. And I think I made one other small change, but we'll see as we get going. So here, pretty typical opening turn. I summoned Cyber Phoenix and set Mind Crush. I think it's safe to set Mind Crush on turn 1 like that. Breaker's banned in this format. Not that this deck might even play Breaker in the first place. Sean then went back and set what's presumably Dekoichi, the Battle Chanted Locomotive. To me, I think the play here is either one of 2 things. I can either summon another Cyber Phoenix and start a beatdown plan where I attack over the Dekoichi and then directly for 1200, or I run into a Spy. That's also a possibility. Because there's a possibility that this is Spy, I think it's better to attack, see what it is, and then set Dekoichi. That way, if this is a Spy, at least on the following turn, I can do a Ryza play, which would be able to attack over a Spy or spin a Spy. I think that might be the best option. He also didn't set any back rows, so there's the possibility that this Ryza play on turn 2 would go undefended. It would actually go through. He would have the draw off the Koichi plus a draw off the top to draw some type of trap. And there's no Dark Hole or anything, so setting a Dekoichi is a bare minimum a floater, so if I get that flip effect off on the following turn, even if he torrentials the summon of my Ryza, I still get the replacement with the Dekoichi draw. So I think this is fine. All right, so it is in fact Spy. All right. So this is good. Now, I'm glad that I didn't just summon the second Cyber Phoenix. I will set Dekoichi myself. I think it's fine to set Dekoichi. I lose to the same Monarchs the same way. If he tributes for Zaborg, that's not great for me. He tributes for Ryza, also kind of not great for me. At least if he tributes for Ryza or Zaborg, and he decides to destroy or bounce the Dekoichi, he'll attack over the Cyber Phoenix, and I'll get a draw out of it. So I think this play is fine. We'll pass to Sean. I will note neither of us opened or drew any of the hand disruption cards. I presume, based on the fact that he's running Spy, that he's also running Trap Dust Shoot. My deck, of course, has 3 copies of Trap Dust Shoot. I am also running a copy of Confiscation as well. All right, so Sean is in fact tributing, and he is summoning Ryza. Okay, let's see what he targets. The back row. So I could try and chain this and try and call something blind. If I were asked to bet my life on it, a card that I would assume could be in his hand is Brain Control, because you wouldn't set it as a spell and trap card. You can't activate it because Cyber Phoenix is on the board. So I think of the cards that could possibly be in his hand, Brain Control is high on the list. I would eliminate or partially consider eliminating Cyber Dragon. That would be another card that's a 3 of that's in his deck, conceivably, based on at least this sequencing here. I'm really tempted to call Brain Control. I don't really want to draw Mind Crush, and if I am able to successfully get this correct, I'm going to be in a good position. Because if I don't activate this, I'm only going to get 1 new fresh draw from this point, assuming he shifts the Spy to attack mode. If he reads that my face down is Dekoichi, I'll get 2 draws, but one of them would be Mind Crush, and then the other card after that would be dead, or would be rather my only real card. So the Mind Crush is dead. I'd only get one real draw. If I were to flip this Mind Crush right now and call Brain Control and miss, none of the cards in my hand other than Ryza are particularly great. So I think based on all of that, I think the fact that I want 2 fresh draws here, this is going to seem crazy. I think it is correct to do this. We'll see. We will see. All right. There we go. So now I at least get 2 fresh draws to try and get out of this. And if he doesn't shift the Spy, I'm going to be able to tribute for Ryza next turn, depending. I honestly do not know. We'll just say no. I do not recall. That rule has shifted back and forth. In the chat, if you haven't noticed, Sean is asking if he still shows the hand. We'll just make the default answer no right now. Perhaps after this game, the next time we play, we'll look into that one. All right, sweet. So I'm actually going to be able to tribute for a Monarch next turn, which is good. It depends on... Oh, that's a good draw. That's a really good draw. So even, honestly... So honestly, even if that Mind Crush went to the top of my deck, I would have at least drawn the Snatch Steal to get out of the situation. But this is still good. I mean, obviously hitting the Brain Control is even better, so it all worked out. And MST. All right, that's fine. This is fine. Okay. So he's, I think, just going to take the Ryza. That's the most obvious selection with my current hand. The question there is, yeah, he's going to put the Ryza top of the deck. Shuffle up. Make sure it's shuffled. Yep, I think I flipped a Koichi, see what I draw, and the option of Snatch Stealing is still on the table. So we'll flip summon the Koichi. We will draw. We will draw Rise of the Storm Monarch. I mean, I shuffled twice. All right, it didn't shuffle. I'm going to put this back. Looking at the log, it didn't shuffle. I pressed shuffle. I just don't think it did. I didn't see the animation. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now we're going to draw another Ryza. Card Trooper. Okay, interesting. So I can Snatch Steal the Ryza, attack over the Spy. I would have to summon. I would prefer to summon the Cyber Phoenix also, and then attack with everything there. It would leave him with 3 cards in hand, drawing to 4. We took the Brain Control out of his hand, so he can't have another one, obviously, but he could theoretically have Snatch Steal, which we would at least have the MST for. I think it's a high likelihood that he has other Monarchs in his hand. I mean, the fact that he set no back rows means it's more likely. The fact that he drew Dust Shoot means that he didn't have any trap cards prior to that, right? It's clear that he doesn't have Mirror Force Torrential, or else those would be on the field. He drew Trap Dust Shoot for the last turn. I think here what I'm going to do is play Snatch Steal on the Ryza and summon the Cyber Phoenix. That way, if he were to play Snatch Steal or were to draw another Brain Control, he could only target the Ryza, and if it's Snatch Steal, I can at least MST it. He could theoretically have Heavy Storm. It's not uncommon to just hold Heavy Storm, meaning some players will play Heavy Storm, will set Heavy Storm with Dust Shoot, but I think it's also pretty common just to hold Heavy Storm in this format. You want to try and OTK when you have the opportunity to do so. So he could Heavy Storm me here. If that happens, it's not the absolute end of the world. Obviously, he 2-for-1s, gets back his Rise, and gets to attack over, presumably, the Koichi. But it's not the end of the world. All right. Yep. How do I shift control? All right. I could have also summoned the Card Trooper and obviously machine duped last turn. That might have been the better play. I don't know. I feel like with Cyber Phoenix, I'm trying to protect against some targeting effects, so I guess it's debatable. So I'll take here 1,200 more and get to draw another card. Spy, not really useful right now. Koichi, not very useful. Now I'm just going to machine dupe do it here. I'm going to put the 2 card troopers that I get out of my deck in defense mode. I don't think it's worth putting them into attack mode. I could mill and draw off of the Pot of Avarice or Brain Control, but I don't think it's worth it. So we're going to do mill 3. Mill 3. And we will mill 3 one more time. Right. Sweet. I hit a Treeborn Frog. That's pretty cool. So we want to put Ryza back into my deck. We definitely want to put... Koichi's better right now than Cyber Phoenix. I can set it and not take damage, so that's 3. I guess I would prefer... Of course, another one of these. I would prefer to draw Cyber Dragon because you could clear my board and then drawing a Cyber Dragon wouldn't be bad. I really don't want a Cyber Phoenix right now. So we'll shuffle here, draw 2. All right, I guess I could have thought about Call the Haunted targets, leaving something in there, but Call the Haunted on the Cyber Phoenix actually isn't bad. So we'll attack here for 400. Go to main phase 2, set the call. I'm still going to set the call even though I have the Treeborn in the grave, and we'll end. I guess I should have probably explained more why I didn't just go into the card trooper play that previous turn. I think sometimes leaving a bunch of card troopers without trap cards is leaving you to be exposed and lose. And I felt like in that situation, the only thing that was really going to affect me was a Heavy Storm. And if you could Heavy Storm and OTK me, that would be really bad. The most common way to OTK is if you leave your board exposed without a Cyber Phoenix. So I guess it may have seemed weird why I just didn't card trooper and dupe the previous turn, but I think you want to protect against getting OTK'd as much as possible in this format, and I think in that situation it warranted just going into Cyber Phoenix, because I know I did hit a Brain Control, but there are other targeting effects like Snatch Steal that can really be game-breaking. Maybe because I took the Brain Control the prior turn, I shouldn't have done that, but definitely something to consider. I would have, of course, dealt, what's it, 700 more, 3,600 more? No, 4,600 more. So I would have dealt more damage for sure. All right, so he is going to attack here. I think it's logical to attack because I could just crash, and he doesn't really want that. These Cyber Dragons aren't the best. All right, draw. Jinzo. I don't love Jinzo here, but I don't hate Jinzo either. I think what I'll do is put the Trooper to attack mode and just crash into the Trooper of his, draw a card, and set Spy. I think that probably puts me into the best situation. I still have all the Spies left in my deck, and I at least have Call the Haunted for Monster and Treeborn, so no matter what, I can summon Jinzo next turn. I don't really mind him drawing something like a Koichi, because now that I have the Nobleman across out, I'm pretty okay with that. So I'll go to attack mode, attack into the card Trooper. This gets it off the board. That way it protects my life total. I'll draw a Trap Dust Shoot. That's actually an insane draw right now. I'll be able to take a look at his hand, end my turn, flip the Dust Shoot. All right, so he has his own Pot of Avarice. So he's got Book, Dragon, Pot, Reaper. Book, Dragon, Pot, Reaper. And he does have enough for Pot of Avarice. That's too bad. Okay, Book, Dragon. All right, we got to get rid of the... I'm going to get rid of the Cyber Dragon. I think that's the correct play. Well, worst case scenario, he Pots of Avarices into Nobleman of Crossout, which is still in his deck, right? Yeah, and that would be really bad for me. I'm just going to write them all down. Book and Pot he's just going to use. So, if I get rid of the Reaper, it just leaves Cyber Dragon quote-unquote dead in his hand. I have an out to Reaper with this Nobleman, but I guess I want to... Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the Reaper. The reason I'm getting rid of the Reaper here is I think the Cyber Dragon is relatively dead in his hand, all things considered. And if you were to draw Spy, all of a sudden he would have 2 monsters that I'd want to use Nobleman on, and I'd rather that not happen, or Koichi, because he's about to draw 2 cards, of which 2 could theoretically be Spy if he puts them both back. He will put them both back, what am I saying? He'll put both of the Spies back, so there's a heightened chance that he'll draw one. He'll have, what, 32 cards in his deck and 3 Spies, so he'll have about a 10% chance, approximately. A little bit higher, actually. All right, sweet. Card Trooper, that's fine. No dupe, that would be bad. Okay, he's milling, sweet. Crush card. I was playing Crush Card Virus. Interesting. There were versions of this deck that ran Crush, but I am not running Crush in my version. All right, so he takes 100 damage. That's good. This is good for us. He's going to attack over one of these, conceivably. Now he's into Cyber Dragon, Book, and a card that is unknown. So he sets 1. We're just going to assume it's Book. He sets 2, obviously. That's opens the door. Probably Dust Shoot. Yeah. I don't think we do anything. We'll just go to standby, let him Dust Shoot. Yep. 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 It's too bad that we drew this Trap Dust Shoot ourselves. It's somewhat inconvenient. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses to take here. So we know he has, all right, yeah, Jinzo, yeah. I guess that's the only immediate out. That makes sense. That makes sense. Shuffle. All right, there we go. So the option here, I think, is to set to Koichi and then pass back, allow him to continue milling now that his Pot of Avarice is gone. I don't really mind him continually milling. We just have to hope he doesn't draw a duplication. We know this set is Book, and we know this card in hand is Cyber Dragon. I could shift to attack mode. That would cost me 1,200 life to make that play, and I don't think that's worth it. I think walling behind the Spy for a turn is fine. If I set the Koichi, he could go Ryza attack, and then Card Trooper attack to Koichi, and then at least that would open up my Cyber Dragons. And I do need to find a way of dealing with this Ryza. So I think I am going to set this to Koichi. And I think that's it. Yeah, I don't really see a better thing to do. I'd rather not give him extra draws. There's a universe where he draws a card on the next turn that doesn't warrant being set, and then I attack the Card Trooper and it puts him back to 4. So then I can Dust Shoot there. We'll see what happens. All right. Yep, that's fine. Get the Card Trooper out. Draw a card. Here we go. There's our out. And now Rise is live because Treeborn Frog is in the graveyard. So that's good. Took a little while, but we got there. We got there. We're not going to be able... So he's going to do it for 3, probably. Yeah, he has to do it really for... No, he could do it for 2. He could do this for 2. He knows this is Koichi, so he could have done that for 2 and attacked over, pumping it only to 14. I mean, there's really no reason not to do it for 3. Yep. Yep. Sangan. Not the best draw. Premature solid. Not upset with Premature. I think here the play is to use Ryza and tribute it and target the Card Trooper. I'm going to try and attack, and then he's going to Book of Moon the Ryza, and then on the following turn I can Premature the Ryza. Is that okay? No. I can't do that. If I do that, I lose. Because if I were to try that play... Oh, the play is actually... The actual play here might be to summon Cyber Dragon and trying to attack the Card Trooper. That's probably going to elicit a Book of Moon on his behalf. And then if he Book of Moon's there, then I can tribute for Ryza. Or rather, if the Card Trooper gets destroyed in battle, main phase 2, I can tribute for Ryza and target the Ryza, and then put the Ryza on top of his deck, and then he's drawing... No, that's not good either, because then he can just go Cyber Dragon Ryza. This is tough. This is tough. It's not clear that I want to bring back Treeborn Frog. That's why I've reconsidered. So my options are, I bring back Treeborn Frog, and I tribute for Ryza. With that effect, I target his Card Trooper, and then I try to attack his Ryza. He Book of Moons my Ryza. Then he draws Card Trooper, plays Card Trooper, mills for 2, attacks the Card Trooper over the Ryza, and then directly for 2,400, and my Premature Burial is dead. So that's not a possible play. That is not a good play. If I were to go and bait out the Book of Moon, he still can just go Cyber Dragon Ryza the following turn, so that's actually not good either. I'm actually in a really uncomfortable position. So let's see here. If I go summon Cyber Dragon, attack Card Trooper for 17, set Sangan, he then attacks over the Cyber Dragon. I think that's probably the best play. I really want, honestly, I really want to summon Ryza this turn. I actually don't think that's the proper play. I don't think I really can win through that. And if he Book of Moons the Cyber Dragon here, at the bare minimum, I at least still have Ryza for the following turn. So I think I'm going to go summon Cyber Dragon, go to battle phase, and attack his Card Trooper. Try and deal 1,700 points of damage. Okay. He draws. I still should not set Trap Shoot because there's no way he's going to go to 4 cards next turn. His Pot Avarice is in the graveyard. Here, now I'm going to set Sangan. I just need something defensive. And I'm going to pass with no back rows. I think that's the proper play. If I set a bluff, I can't bring back Frog. I partially want to set a bluff in case he draws Ryza, because then he might target the bluff back row, and I'd keep my field presence in terms of monsters, but that's not proper. I need the Treeborn Frog option next turn, even though I do have Cyber Dragon. I would like the option to bring back Frog if I have a monster on the board still, which is a conceivable outcome here with this current board state. Yep. This was one of the options. He just attack over like this. Okay. Yep, main phase 2. If he doesn't set anything, I'm in awesome position. Just perfect position if he just doesn't set anything. Because I know this is Book. I can bring back the Treeborn Frog, tribute it, bounce the Ryza, and then Dust Shoot. Nope, not going to happen. I was going to set 2. So we drew 2 cards there. Okay, draw. That's not the worst. Yep. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No more Cyber Dragon. I was hoping he didn't have the 3rd Dust Shoot. The 3rd Dust Shoot would be rough here. All right, so let's go to main phase 1. This confiscation is actually good because this Cyber Dragon was going to be annoying. But now I can go tribute Ryza on the Treeborn Frog and bounce his Ryza on top of his deck, and then confiscation away the Cyber Dragon, and now he draws a dead Ryza. So unless this is Call the Haunted set, I'm in pretty good shape. If it's Call the Haunted, I might lose outright. We'll see. We will see. I think it's better to tribute the Treeborn Frog here. I don't think tributing Sangan... If I tribute Sangan, I would at least get to search Cyber Phoenix or a 3rd Spy or another Dekoichi, and at least I'd have a summon for the following turn. I think that might actually be proper. Just use the Treeborn Frog as the defense. Yeah, I talked myself into this. So we're going to send this to the grave and target his Ryza. We'll see what he responds with. Ring is a card that I don't really have a way of playing around anymore. If he rings me at some point here, I'm just going to lose. So I am going to play Confiscation. I need to get rid of the Cyber Dragon in hand. Unfortunately, Ring Destruction is legal in this format, as you can see in the one in my graveyard. I think I've done my best to try and play around what he could have, but if there is Ring, there is Ring. I think it's best to get Dekoichi at this point because Cyber Phoenix requires me to put into attack mode for value. I think Dekoichi is possibly the better selection here. Yeah, I think so. I can set it next turn. I don't have to put in... I mean, I could set Cyber Phoenix too, honestly. Yeah, maybe this is correct. Cyber Phoenix. If I am so worried about Ring of Destruction, maybe Cyber Phoenix is better, yeah. All right, we'll see what happens if he attacks. Hopefully he doesn't ring. Ring would be really bad. I lose the game if he rings. Okay, Book. Good, good. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. Hit him with the Comfy. All right. The card I'm worried about the most now is Call of the Haunted. Or set Premature Burial, which is not an impossible card either to set, but Premature is way more likely. No reason to set Dust Shoot Bluff? No. I have the Treeborn Frog. No reason to set it. So he draws what should be a dead Ryza. Okay. Dupe. Useless. Flip Summon. Torrential. Yeah. So interesting thought there. If he did not Torrential there, so I have game, but if he did not Torrential there, would you summon the Cyber Phoenix? Because then I would not be able to do this for game. He would Torrential there, and I'd only be able to call the Haunted or Premature Burial for one of them. I still think I do it because I have the Nobleman in hand. So worst case, he draws something like Reaper or Spy, and then I can just Nobleman it. That was a really good game, though. Really good game. My side deck's not really a super serious side deck in the sense that in terms of this matchup, I don't really think I want to side deck anything. You know, the Pulling the Rugs are for Perfect Circle, more Monarch heavy decks. I feel like his deck is just a pretty streamlined deck. None of these cards really seem like they do a whole lot. Maybe the Scapegoats to avoid OTKs, but it didn't seem like he had the Future Fusion variant going on. It seemed like he had more of a controlling variant. I could put in a Smashing Ground to play around the Phoenix, but I think I'm fine with the way the deck is constructed. That first game had some interesting decision points. The decision to Mind Crush blindly, I think, was a pretty big one, obviously. And then I don't think it ultimately shifted the outcome of the game too much, but holding off on that duplication with Card Trooper for a turn, I don't know if that was the right play. I could have just done a lot of damage, but then I leave myself exposed with a bunch of attack position monsters. So it's debatable. So this is definitely a Trap Dust Shoot, which is too bad. My hand's not very good. Yep. At least I'll be able to Nobleman what's probably going to be a pretty good card. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. It seems like if your opponent's looking at your hand, you can't shuffle. I guess that's what works. Okay, Nobleman. Here, there's really no decision as to whether or not to Nobleman. Yeah, I could leave him with this monster, let him get some value, and then go Brain Ryza, but yeah, that's actually a really good one to hit. I don't really want to be pressured into a Brain Ryza play in the first place, so we'll just use the Nobleman. I definitely shuffled. Shuffle deck, yeah, right there. I still don't think I'm going to summon this Card Trooper. Well, so the reason you do not summon Card Trooper in this format is the risk of getting Brain duped. If my opponent had Brain dupe, he wouldn't have put Card Trooper back the last turn. So now I think it is actually okay to summon Card Trooper because I needed to get things going. I really want to try and mill Treeborn Frog or monsters just in general. All right, a couple monsters. Best case, this is Dekoichi, not Spy. All right, that's good. That's good. I could still very easily lose. I mean, I think I'm behind. My hand's not very good, but so far, the things that have needed to go my way have gone my way. That was an inevitability, him having a Cyber Dragon here. That's too bad. At least I'll get a draw out of it, so I'll take 17,000 total. Draw a card. Hopefully he just hits something like my Jinzo. 3. All right. All right. All the things that I need to happen so far are happening, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Now, I don't have a comfortable out to that Reaper. I know I have Brain Control in my hand, but actually using Brain Control on it would mean I don't get to summon my Ryza. That's unfortunate. It's too bad I don't have my Card Trooper anymore. That's another reason to hold Trooper, but I have Brain Control. Unfortunately, I'm pressured into making a play this turn, though. I could Brain Control the Reaper just to kill it, but I think at that point I'm going to lose too much life on the following turn. There's a good chance, knowing Sean, that this is Mind Crush, but what can you do? What can you do? I can at least play around a second Trap Dust Shoot by setting the Heavy Storm. Now, if this ends up being MST, so be it. So be it. I'll at least play around the possibility that it's a second Trap Dust Shoot. The reason is I now have 4 cards in my hand, so we can't actually use it. I'm going to Tribute right away, and I'm going to spin the Reaper. I think. Yeah, I think there's a chance that the back row's chainable, and I'd rather get what I perceive to be full value. I also don't want to leave a monster on the board. Yeah, that's fine. A monster on the board that he could use. I can Pot Avarice now, that he can use for a Monarch summon. So we'll see what happens. I mean, at this point, I could draw a couple good cards off of this. I could draw a Trooper. That would be nice. I've seen better. I've seen better. I definitely need to draw something like Sangin or Card Trooper now. A lot went my way, actually. Torrential was probably one of the best case scenarios, but I don't think I'm in a great position. Yep. Trooper would be a good draw. I mean, I could go Cyber, Trooper, Dupe. That would steal a game or shift the game in my favor. Okay. Why did he MST like that? Huh. It's interesting. Ryza, huh? It's an interesting one. I guess I don't really like going Cyber Dragon plus Monarch. I could do that and spin his monster. It's not saying it. Obviously, that's banished already. So it's probably just a Spy or Koichi. I could also set Frog. Let him do a play and then respond to it. But if he were to tribute for a Monarch and spin my Frog, then I would be forced to go Cyber Dragon, Ryza, and then spin his Monarch or his back row. And that doesn't seem that good, particularly if this is Spy and he has another monster on board. I'm at 52. I guess yeah, I think I'm going to go summon Cyber Dragon, just attack his face down and see what happens. This will give me some insight into what he has going on here. Could be Morphing Jar. Maybe his deck runs Morphing Jar. Hopefully it's not Crush Card. That would be too bad. Okay, so it is a Spy. All right. I think I might pass here. I think I might set the Frog and pass. The reason I might do that is the best way for him to deal... No, I actually don't want to set Frog and pass. That's a lie. The best way for him to deal with what's currently happening is for him to tribute this for a Ryza and spin my Cyber Dragon, which is a fairly likely occurrence. If I were to tribute for Ryza right now and spin his Spy, he would just be able to set the Spy again, and then we'd be back in the same position, except I wouldn't have the ability to spin any more monsters because I would have already used my Ryza. I also don't want to set the Treeborn Frog because then he'll spin the Frog and attack the Cyber Dragon. Then I don't have a monster on the board the next turn. If I leave just the Cyber Dragon, he has to spin the Cyber Dragon, and then I can go Cyber Dragon Ryza. So we'll see. This will give us insight into whether or not he actually has Ryza in his hand. Oh, that's a good draw. He's going to take the Ryza now, unfortunately. It has to be this. My hand is completely dead otherwise. Hopefully he doesn't now have Ryza, because now it's just the worst of everything. At least I can set Treeborn Frog and wall for a little while. I mean, honestly, if he tributes for Ryza, it's not the absolute worst case scenario. Walling with Treeborn Frog's not the worst. It all matters on how quickly he draws a second monster. If he draws a good second monster, then I'm going to have a tough time coming back. So he's got Snatch. Or, ooh. Ring. Okay, is that game? 2100 plus 27. Almost. Okay. All right, so he knows my hand is really bad. I like it. I like it. Yep, that'll do it. No, actually, no. Attack. Go. I'm not dead yet. Now, he has, bare minimum, a 67% chance of killing me. Okay, that also just does it outright. All right, we're going to the next game, same deck. I haven't seen any Cyber Phoenixes out of him. At least I don't think I have. He's running an interesting version of whatever it is that he's playing. All right, so we'll go first. I think this is a hand where I go Cyber Phoenix, set Ring, pass. Or I could go set Card Trooper, set Ring, pass too. I think that's a little bit better. He might perceive that as potentially Aspire to Koichi and then play accordingly, fearing a Monarch on the following turn. Because I don't think otherwise it really matters if I summon Cyber Phoenix. I don't think it's really going to do anything, so I'll just do this. Setting the Ring is debatable. Honestly, I might not set the Ring now that I'm thinking about it. I might just hold it for a point in the game where I know he has a monster and it becomes automatically chainable. What exactly am I going to ring? Like, let's say he summons Cyber Dragon. Do I ring that? Yeah, I do ring that. Yep, okay. I ring Cyber Dragon. I have to set it. If I had another way of dealing with Cyber Dragon, I wouldn't set the ring. I'd just hold it, but I don't have a clean way of dealing with Cyber Dragon, so I do want to set the ring so that if he summons Cyber Dragon, I can just ring it. All right, that's fine. There's Dust Shoot. He always sets Dust Shoot over there. All right. Standby phase? Okay. Hopefully he doesn't have Mind Crush. Mind Crush on the knock would be frustrating. Because at least now I can summon either one of these two monsters. And then... Oh, he says, geez, he must think I have a pretty... I mean, I actually do have a pretty good hand. There's a universe where I can win this turn. If this is a dead card, I can summon, limiter, attack, ring. Ooh, I can't. If he leaves me with Cyber Phoenix, if I have to summon Cyber Phoenix to do that, I actually don't win because I can't target my own monster. But if he leaves me with Trooper, and I go summon Troopers, flip Trooper, mill for 6, attack, limiter, ring, that would be game. Depends what this card is. The fact that he's taking so long to think makes me think it's not Mind Crush. Because if this was Mind Crush, I feel like the decision would be a little bit easier. Knowing that this face-down monster survives, because assuming it's Spy, it walls these really well, so then you would just probably take the Ryza. Oh, he is in fact taking the Ryza. Okay. That's interesting. So... I do kind of want to try and win because I have the opportunity to do so presented to me. What's actually interesting is if I limiter removal the second card trooper attack, that monster goes to 38, and then he will already have taken 19, and then the 38 off of ring would be game. So what I'm going to do first here is summon trooper. And I'm going to go 3 with priority. I think with this deck you always priority just because you have the Treeborn Frog in your deck. Okay, flip summon again. Say 3. Okay, Nobleman. The problem here is he knows that I have limiter, so he has to Mirror Force here. Okay. Well, here's an interesting question then. Do I want to limiter, he says. If I limiter here and go to 38, the second card trooper could then be hit by Mirror Force. So would he Mirror Force? The question is, the questions you have to consider here is, 1, does he play Sakuratsu Armor? I don't think that's a very good card at this point of the format where we're playing with these machine beatdown decks, because if that was Sakuratsu Armor, he would use the Sakuratsu on my second card trooper, of which he wouldn't typically normally do that. If I attack here and limiter and damage step, then just ring, he's going to think that he survives. So I'm just going to attack here with this one. All right, so I am going to do it on the second one. He could Book of Moon me. So be it. Yeah, so he's getting a little bit confused. So he takes 38 from where he is now. All right. So I guess I just ring now. See what happens. If he books, he books. That's his only out. All right. Well, that was a uneventful game 3. Just shows you the power of limiter removal. Limiter removal is a stupid card. Honestly, so is Ring of Destruction.